You're about to learn the hidden timeline the palace never wanted you to connect, the late-night calls, the vanishing diaries, the coded phrases in press releases, the resignation that blew a hole in the official story, the sealed records, the alias, the four words that detonated a succession panic, and the single handwritten letter that turned a scandal into a reckoning. By the end, you'll know who moved first, who tried to bury it, why truth over titles caught fire, and how one choice forced the crown to pick between secrecy and survival. Quick note before we begin. This is a dramatized, commentary-driven investigation built from public chatter and analysis. It isn't a statement of fact. Treat it as a narrative exploration of power, silence, and consequence. IT began as a whisper no one could source, and everyone could feel. Corridors that never sleep when quiet. Aides who never flinch stopped making eye contact. Calendar entries slid from public to private to missing. It changes everything, a senior aide muttered under their breath, and suddenly London's favorite sport, reading the palace tea leaves, turned into a national obsession. Was this health? Was this marriage? Was this succession? Or was it something the rulebook doesn't even have words for? At first, the pattern looked benign. A charity appearance moved. A school visit rescheduled. Then came the flood. Postponements wrapped in perfect PR phrasing about family time and recovery and privacy. The words were tidy. The energy wasn't. Insiders felt a vacuum opening beneath their feet. Staff rotations flipped. Phones came back from IT without histories. Hall doors, once propped, clicked shut and stayed that way. The story wasn't the rumor anymore. The story was the silence. Then the phrase landed. A private medical matter. And everything accelerated. That line has covered 1,000 sins and 100 ordinary recoveries. But it only fits when there's a timetable, a plan, a horizon. This time, there was just fog. Reporters pushed for detail and the answers got smaller, colder, cleaner. Which is how you know the answers are hiding something messy. The cameras still found William. He smiled, but the smile didn't land. He waved with the wrong hand, as if the right were holding something heavy just off-screen. Body language experts did what they always do. Froze, zoomed, circled, speculated. The internet decided it saw distance. Those who know him said it wasn't anger, it was dread. Not what did you do, but what will this do to the future we were told to carry? And then the machine flexed. The calls went out. Lawyers sharpened pencils. Editors took meetings that didn't go on the calendar. The message was clear. Say nothing you can't defend in front of a judge. Most outlets complied. But coded language leaked through the cracks, the way river water finds the lowest point. Months of fragility, a matter of great sensitivity, privacy requested and respected. Respect is easy until curiosity becomes oxygen. You can't ask a country to stop breathing. While the surface smoothed, the undertow raged. And pressed for daylight. Tell people sooner. Tell them straighter. Trust that the truth, however ugly, will always cost less than the cover-up. Charles, steeled by decades in the blast radius, wanted discipline. Control the frame, or the frame controls you. That is the modern crown in one sentence. The belief that you can choreograph chaos if you keep the tempo high enough and the cameras at the right angle, but choreography fails when the music changes. The resignation did that. A senior physician gone. The statement was antiseptic, differing views, personal reasons, future opportunities. Inside, it was a rupture. Ethics don't resign themselves. Someone drew a line, and someone else stepped over it. The rumor mill stopped whispering and started naming operations. One in particular, shared in back channels and burner accounts, sounded too on the nose to be real. Operation Silent Air. Seal the records. Scrub the logs. Tighten the circle. If there's no paper, there's no past. Except there's always a past. And pasts have witnesses. Midnight arrivals under aliases. Staff surrendering phones on entry. A wing of a private facility where the oxygen of gossip couldn't reach, so the story evolved without leaving fingerprints. Those who were there said the atmosphere felt like the moment before a verdict. No cheering. No crying. Just the awareness that whatever came next would be irreversible. The four words did not come in a broadcast. They fell. They cracked. They echoed. In a room where they were never meant to escape. A conversation, private by design, buckled under the weight of months of unspoken things. Someone recorded it, whether by accident, instinct, or instruction. And within hours, those words threaded a needle through the internet's bloodstream. He isn't William's child. For syllables of emotional dynamite. The accusation and the implication. The personal and the constitutional. The kind of sentence that doesn't need evidence to do damage, because the damage is the doubt. Lockdown. That was the reflex. Seize devices. Freeze comms. Pull everyone into rooms without windows. Remind them that secrets are currency, and spenders get caught. The press office went dark. The family went silent. But silence is not a strategy, it's a countdown. William stopped speaking publicly. Privately, he played the recording over until silence felt louder than sound. People projected fury onto him. Those who saw him up close recognized something worse. The paralysis of an heir who's been told since childhood that his first job is to keep the line unbroken, and is now staring at a knot he can't untie without cutting the rope. Charles intervened the only way an institution knows how, with process. Meetings. Memos. Threats. A paper shield against a digital storm. He argued that the crown has survived everything by outlasting it. But outlasting requires outlistening, too, and what he heard in the room wasn't the country's patience, it was its skepticism, and did what people who value the truth always do. She asked for it directly. No press. No flunkies. No choreography. A conversation between two women who understand that monarchy is a job and motherhood is a vow, and sometimes those two things collide so violently that only one walks away. Catherine's answer, the version people in that room share in careful, unglamorous sentences, was not a plea. It was an explanation of motive. The 4 words were not designed to crown a scandal. They were a misdirection to keep a smaller, more vulnerable life from being dragged into a fight it did not choose. Protection in the shape of self-incrimination. The oldest form of love. That explanation reframes everything or nothing, depending on whether you think intent can redeem impact. And heard it, and, for the first time in a long time, hesitated. Duty is a compass. Compassion is a weight. Sometimes you can't carry both. While the family wrestled with ethics, the press wrestled with access. One journalist, call him Thomas Hargreaves, call him any reporter who's worn out 3 pairs of shoes chasing the truth, recognized the choreography. He'd seen it before in the 90s, when official lines and lived reality diverged so violently they created their own weather. He followed absence like a trail. Files missing, entries encrypted, an unregistered record with a familiar alias, a sealed reference that pointed not at a person but at a policy. A source, medical, careful, scared, used 10 words and a lifetime of reputation to confirm what he suspected. The child exists, and the decision to hide was sanctioned from the top down, not to protect romance but to preserve order. If that sounds monstrous to you, understand the logic. Institutions don't have hearts, they have continuity. When love threatens continuity, continuity wins. Unless someone refuses to play. Catherine refused. Presented with a lifetime gag, ink and intimidation, she tore it in half. That's not defiance for show. That's a mother cracking the ceiling with her hands. Somewhere in that act, the calculus changed. You can't control someone who has decided that the cost of silence is higher than the cost of speech, and so they spoke. Not through courtiers, not through correspondence, but straight down the lens. No embargo. No choreography. No soft seating. 2 people who have learned how to hide in plain sight sat down, and chose not to. Catherine first. Not a confession, a testimony. Not an excuse, a context. She did not ask for forgiveness. She asked for understanding.